Hey guys, I'm Vinny and this is Colby and this is Whiskey with Friends. Today we're going to take you through 5 facts you need to know about bourbon. You know, to not look ridiculous in front of your friends.
Yep.
So, while we're doing the video, we are drinking Bourbon Tucker 6 year. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, you can check out that video here. All right, let's get started.
Hit me with fact number 1, Vinny.
Fact number 1. Fact number 1 is, a lot of people think that bourbon needs to be made in Kentucky, and while like 85 or 90% of it is made in Kentucky, it can actually be made anywhere in the United States.
Yep.
It has to be made in the United States, but it can be made anywhere.
Anywhere. There's a lot of great distilleries outside of Kentucky. You got St. Augustine in Florida, High West in Utah, and I've never had Smoke Wagon, but I've heard amazing things about them out in Nevada.
Yeah, actually Bourbon Tucker, Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah. All right. Fact number 2 is bourbon does have to be aged in newly charred American oak barrels. Can't reuse barrels. Has to be a newly charred American oak barrel.
Yeah, unlike other whiskeys, which can reuse barrels or trade barrels, bourbon barrels can only be used one time for it to be called bourbon. So most commonly, you'll see them shipped over to Scotland to make scotch. Sometimes you'll see them for other alcohols. There's tequila and wine and other things that are aged in bourbon barrels. A lot of beers are aged in bourbon barrels now.
A lot of beers.
And sometimes you'll see just outlandish things.
Yeah, a lot of furniture, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, but for bourbon, they can only be used one time, and they have to be freshly charred, made out of American oak.
Yep. Fact number 3.
Fact number 3. Bourbon is made of at least 51% corn. So your typical bourbon mash is probably about 70% corn. It'll have some corn, a little bit of rye, unless it's wheated, then you replace the rye with the wheat.
Yep.
And some barley, but it's mostly corn. Has to be mostly corn for it to be bourbon.
Fact number 4. This may come as a surprise, but small batch is bullshit.
Yeah.
It means whatever distiller wants it to mean.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fancy name when you see it on the shelf. It's just a marketing ploy, in my opinion.
It is, yeah. Yeah, small batch is up to the distiller. They can call whatever they want small batch. They can make huge vats of it and call it small batch if they want. They can do single barrel and call it small batch. There's no restrictions or parameters around it. It's completely up to the distiller. So don't let small batch influence your decision when it comes to bourbon. It's a fake term.
Yeah.
And what are we on, 5?
Yeah.
5 already. Fact number 5 is it's about aging. So if something says, unlike small batch, if something says straight bourbon, there is a significance to that. Straight bourbon has to be aged for 2 years in barrels. So sometimes you'll get aging for significantly longer than 2 years, but they might take it out of a barrel, put it in a vat, do something else. But for it to be called straight bourbon whiskey, it has to be aged for 2 years, and there can't be any additives for color or flavor, nothing artificial. It has to be the straight bourbon aged for at least 2 years.
Yep.
And you'll see other terms, we'll get into that in another video. Barreled in bond has to be aged for 4 years. Blends can be aged for as little as 1 day. American whiskeys can be aged or completely unaged. You might see those as a white dog is the term for that. But yeah, for a straight bourbon, it has to be aged for a minimum of 2 years in the white American newly charred oak barrels in America. Alright, those are your 5 facts, so you don't look ridiculous in front of your friends about bourbon. Enjoy.